from my home here in Moreland, Oklahoma. My family, a family who has served this country. My father, my uncles, my great-grandfathers, my wife's father. My mother's side, deeply enriched in the military. One who fought, was wounded on Iwo Jima. It's been a family that has shown some sacrifice. From all of us, I can honestly tell you there's a heartfelt, happy Memorial Day. Not because we're gonna go out and have happy water skiing today, going to the lake, getting drunk. There's not gonna be none of that for us. I say happy Memorial Day because of the sacrifices of the men and women who've allowed you to be able to go water skiing and go have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those guys are heroes. Those guys, they gave everything for you. Now, I think some of us that have been there, we know that sometimes circumstances isn't that heroic, but they were there. We owe a great debt of gratitude for people that are even willing to serve in something larger than themselves. That they didn't just do it for the accolades that they get in the airports, or the free beer, or the goddamn t-shirt. I'm reminded of just how much sacrifice people do for this country, and exactly why they did it. I mean, some of the kids today, I don't think they understand. Even the ones in the service, I don't think they understand what we had here. The right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The government and everything else has gotten so big, and so useless, starting to infringe upon us a little bit. I knew this was happening. I've known this was happening since the early 90s, actually, but you know, until something actually happens to you where you need the assistance of the government, because the government's real mission in life is to protect us. That's really their only real mission. Protect us from disease, typhoid, keep the sewers flowing, criminals, cattle rustlers, people that would destroy your livelihood. And recently, a little bit closer to home, to protect lives and property. That's what they're there for. And when they don't do it, for us that have served, for us that have sacrificed so much, for us that have been hurt in the line of duty, for us that have carried our comrades off the battlefield, on a battlefield that there was no drive and no purpose, but they still came and we still did it for over 20 years. To see no standards. I'm having so much trouble trying to accept that there's no standards. There's no standards. And I just think back to the fallen. You know, what did we all want to do? We wanted to get back to the world. We all wanted to get back to the world. But I want you all to think real deeply. When we got back to the world, what did we all want to do? We all wanted to go back to the reality. I know I did. I wanted to go right back. I would have stayed in combat for the rest of my life. I damn sure would have stayed in command for the rest of my life. I even told the brigade commander that when I left command. Said I'll stay a captain and be in command for the rest of my life. Just keep me here. But it was time for somebody else to punch their ticket. It's time for me to move on. We had a standard for everybody that was under me. We had an understanding. At least I believe I did, or we did. We had an understanding we will never run from a fight, and we will give maximum effort if we ever got into one. And for the most part, I could say that standard was followed. That doesn't happen in the civilian world. What happens in the civilian world is you get told not to have such high standards, especially when it comes to edge type professions like general policing or fire departments, and especially in volunteer fire departments. You cannot expect small towns to have high standards because it comes at such a great cost. I agree. It does come at a great cost. Although our insurance is great, on the spot, they don't replace shrapnel that I picked off of Tinian, sand that I had from Iwo Jima, shrapnel that I picked out of the walls of Camp Paladin, the buildings, after a good hard licking from our U.S. artillery steel. Countless other things. I'm gonna tell you, the reasons why I collected so much stuff is because I knew then nobody was paying attention. Nobody was going to write the history of what we did. That history was right here, and now it's gone. I think about my great uncle. I spent an entire year researching, trying to find out what happened to him in World War I. Same with my grandfather Jackson. Nobody really knew anything about his service. After researching, I found out what boat took him over and what boat brought him back. I never met the man. I can tell you this, on his draft, I noticed he didn't want to go. He did not want to go. But he went anyway. As a medic in World War I. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what that must have been like? And a friend of mine's grandfather here in this town, I did some research on him and he was mustard gassed. Because the people of the United States sent them to stop World War I. And then when I was young, this country was full of World War II veterans. They were highly successful people, functional, possibly some closet alcoholics. Not possibly, they were. Maybe a little mean at night, much like all veterans are. Goddamn, they've gone through hell. And now, we're just expected to accept what is. I suppose I will eventually get around to just accepting the fact that with low standards, the cost is not near as high as just expecting people to do maximum effort when people's lives, livelihoods, property is at stake. Eventually, we just have to accept that. There's no recourse. There's nowhere to go with it. Nobody wants to listen. Everybody just wants to praise the local heroes. Because standards that are too high are way too costly. Tell that to people that have died all over the world for this country. We gave freedom to people that didn't want it. At the cost of our own flesh, our own blood, our own health. With a high standard. We damn near had to wait on them to kill us before we could do anything. We did it. Personally called in medevacs to save enemy combatants' lives. I didn't want to, but it was my duty to do it. Life, limb, or eyesight. Anyway. To everybody that I care about, which is a lot, and the people that care about me, the people that have reached out, hundreds of people from all over the world, I just want to tell you, happy Memorial Day. Be happy that there was actually people willing to make sure to preserve the illusion of freedom.